Hi, yeah, I'm Tom Parslow. I'll tell you about new syntax coming in JavaScript soonish, probably in ES7. Oh, up here. Okay, sorry. So first, a bit of JavaScript. We're loading something, probably from a file like through a web request or something. We're then taking the result of that, loading something else. We're then taking the result of that, loading something else. That's all nice and simple and straightforward, but the problem is we can't write that because those are asynchronous operations, and this would only work with synchronous stuff, so this is synchronous code. So what do? We transform it into a callback version. That's doing the same, logically that's the same thing, except now it's asynchronous, and it's just got a lot of extra noise. We have to pass errors back up manually, that kind of stuff. And we've got an inverted pyramid. Oh no, lots of indentation. So yeah, we might replace that with some promises-based code. And that, I think, is a little better. It's not always, it's got problems, but yeah, we get rid of some of that indentation. We don't need to manually handle the error at every single step. But there's still a fair amount of sort of extra stuff going on there. Yeah, when things are complicated, you know, things break. And I just wanted to put that GIF in. I really like that GIF. So going back to the original codes. It's nice. I mean, like, wouldn't it be nicer if we could just write that? And with the new async await syntax coming, we pretty much can. So you can add a few extra keywords. The async keyword says that this is going to be an asynchronous function, so it's going to not return immediately. It's going to return, but it's going to have sort of asynchronous stuff within it. And then inside of each of those in front of each of those asynchronous calls, we put an await keyword. And this is all working with the same semantics as promises. In fact, it all is promises underneath, and it interrupts with promises. So these load JSON functions, they could be async functions written like this, but they could also just be promise functions. And likewise, this function here that we're creating, this first chapter title, this is now returning a promise. So we can use it from other code that doesn't need to be using that. The other code that can be just using regular promise stuff. We could also use it from another async function. And for error handling. So error handling is going to go into a promise fail state. But if we want to capture errors, we can do that just using the try-catch thing, just like we would with an exception in synchronous code. And likewise, if we want to return an error, so if we want to make the promise that this function returns be in the error state, then we can just throw an error, and that becomes the error, and that becomes an error state to the promise. So browser support. There isn't any yet. But you know, hopefully soon. It's in the ECMAScript spec. In the ECMAScript spec process. They're hoping it's going to get in there soon, and it will get into browsers at some point, maybe, hopefully. But until then, we have Babel. So I guess a lot of you have been doing that for lots of other ES6 features at the moment. It also supports async await. So you could, if you're using Babel, or if you are willing to use Babel right now, you can start using async await right away. So thanks for listening.